Hello everyone and welcome to much awaited instructional video in developing this stunning dashboard in Excel. I have explained 5 tricks that can help anyone to create beautifully designed Excel dashboard. This dashboard has some amazing features. It has a drop-down employee list where you select the employee and the data will change accordingly. It also has a leaderboard which ranks employees based on a set criteria. It also has something called email stats. So once you click on email stats, it will generate an auto email to that employee listing his or her statistics in the email. Another cool thing about this dashboard is if you fancy putting this dashboard on a big screen, simply click on the show mode and set the interval time. So if I select 3 seconds as an interval time, switching between each employee, and I press OK, and the employee will auto run on the big screen. I would like to start by first explaining the approach that we should take for building a well-designed automated dashboard. There are many ways of doing things, and to be honest, there is no one right answer to anything. Therefore, I will share my way of doing it. Hopefully it will help you out and you will be able to create staggering reports, dashboards on your own. I have already emailed a copy of this dashboard to subscribers who left their email ID in the comment section. In case you have not received the email, this video will still be of great benefit as I will be giving away 5 tricks to create any dashboard beautifully designed and automated. This sales dashboard in particular has 2 sections. The first one, which is at the top header, is a static section where I have shown the holistic view of the company's overall performance and the key measures including the total sales, the total profit, the profit margin percentage, and the profit per product sold. The section below is actually dynamic and it changes with the change in the selection. This section also comprises of sales analysis, profitability analysis, units sold, some personal achievements, number of units sold, and some key trends over here. Now in this section, what else I have is the number of products being sold from highest to lowest. So which was the highest selling product and which was the lowest selling product for that particular employee. So by in terms of sales, in terms of profitability, and in terms of the number of units. What it also shows is the biggest customer segment for that particular employee in terms of sales, profitability, and units sold. So as I told you earlier, I will be revealing some tricks, and the first trick that I use is I work backwards from visualization back to the data. This means based on the dashboard requirement, I will always first create the dashboard visualization and then fill that visualization with the data. So instead of going the traditional way where you first create the data, you actually do the analysis and then you create visualization, I go the other way around. Now this helps a lot in keeping myself focused and motivated as I'm working with the end result and product in my mind. So as you could see that right now the dashboard is in a full screen mode and you are not able to see the sheets or the formula bar. So what I will do is I will click on the normal screen and it will turn to a normal Excel. Now the trick number 2 over here is I don't use cells at all. You can see all the cells in my front layout of the dashboard, they are empty. So what I use instead is I actually make extensive use of shapes and text boxes. So by using text boxes and shapes, it gives me the flexibility to place it anywhere where I want regardless of the cells. And similarly, the formatting options are pretty much limited in the cells, but I have more formatting options if I choose text boxes and shapes. So that's one of the main reasons why I am using text boxes and shapes to design my dashboard instead of the cells. So I will just quickly browse through the different sheets and the file structure or the structure of this dashboard. So as you could see, the first sheet over here is the data sheet. Data sheet is actually nothing but the raw dump of refined data. Now this follows by the analysis sheet. This analysis sheet contains some of the pivot tables, VLOOKUPs, and summates to refine the analysis, and that analysis then goes into the main dashboard layout. So the data flow is basically from the raw dump data to the analysis where the data gets refined and from there the data is actually shown on the main dashboard. Now there are other sheets as well. For instance, for this particular dashboard, I actually wanted to have a list of employees, the product's name and the customer category. As you could see in my main dashboard, I have couple of pictures over here. So the first picture actually changes with the drop down, and the other picture is for the leaderboard section where the top 3 employees as per the performance measures are being ranked. So therefore there was a requirement to have 2 sheets, where the first sheet is where there is a picture of the person over here. Now this picture changes with the drop down. Similarly, the second sheet is for the leaderboard section. Now, this section actually corresponds to this leaderboard table over here and the pictures over here. Then I have another sheet which is for the mail function. As I told you earlier, in my dashboard there is a functionality where if you click on the email stats, it will automatically generate an email to the particular employee with his or her statistics in the email. Now that statistics are being taken from this sheet which is called the mail. And then I have another sheet which is only for illustration purpose right now, and it is called the file structure. So basically all my dashboards, they follow pretty much the similar structure. You have the main data and you have the analysis, and the analysis then gets shown as a dashboard on the main screen. Now the user has the ability over here to select the employee from the list. So whatever employee he selects, the analysis gets changed accordingly. Similarly, whatever employee he selects, the employee image and the leader image also gets changed. And all of this combines together to give you a very nice looking dashboard. What I will do now is I will try to recreate some bits of it, and I will try to actually give you the way how it's being built, so you can build anything you want on your own. So for now I will say, okay, this is my data, and the first thing I normally do is, now this data is already refined and in a pretty good shape. This might not be the case with your data or in your situation. So what you have to do is always first refine the data, and once you are done with it, the next step is actually to basically convert it into a table, which I have done already. So all my data that I use are normally converted into tables. So in this case, if I go to table design, my table name is sales. If you want to create your data into a table, simply click on the data and go to insert and click on the table. Right now my data is already in the table format, that's why I'm not able to click it. But in the normal case, when you populate the data, just click on the table and it will auto select the data and it will be ready to be created in a table format. One thing to bear in mind over here is when you are trying to create a table, just make sure you don't leave empty columns in between. And also there shouldn't be breaks in your data. So for instance, in my case, there is no break and my data is complete from the row 1 till row 337. Once you rename your data and you have created a table, now this is the trick number 3. Creating the data table actually helps you while doing the pivot tables. So for instance, if I want to create a pivot table of this, I will just insert a new sheet. Let me call it analysis version 2. Now, if I want to create a pivot table from here, what I'll simply do is I'll go to insert, pivot table, and I will write the name of the table that I built over there in the data sheet. And here we go. Here I have the pivot table with all the columns that were there. So instead of going to change data source and changing the data every time, you simply refer to your data as the table in your main data sheet. The first advantage is it is easier to do it because you can create pivots anywhere in the workbook by just referring to the main database, which is the name of the table, and that is the sales table. The other main benefit is, in future, if you add more data below, you simply do a refresh and all your pivot tables will get updated. So you don't need to go to the pivot table and click on the change data source, and from there actually again select the full data set. So this is really helpful, and it saves a lot of time, and at the same time it also automates your dashboard. Now what I will do is I will create another sheet and I will try to replicate some of the items from my summary sheet. Now in this case again I have the data, I'll do some analysis, and that analysis will get shown in the main summary. As I told you earlier, the first thing that I will work on is the visualization of the dashboard or the layout of the dashboard. So first thing first, I normally don't like grid lines, so I will remove the grid lines from here, so I have a clean canvas to work on. As you could see, I will simply format the background color, and perhaps I'll choose the color, this one. It's the same color over there. Now this thing over the navigation bar on the left side is a shape. So I will go to Insert, Illustration, and I will create a rectangle shape. I will make sure that I have enough width in my shape as I need to place the leaderboard inside. Right click, Format Shape, and I will choose the color of the shape. Since I don't want the lines, I will say no line. Now you can choose whatever color you like based on your company's logo or based on your preference. Now let's try to see what else is there in the dashboard. As you could see, these are nothing but shapes and these are the lines. So I will try to recreate that. Insert, and I will try to put some lines over here. I'll just color them white, similar to what I have in the dashboard, and copy paste and create another line. Now as I could see, I don't have much space left over here, so I will try to expand my dashboard and also extend the navigation. And zoom out, and that's how it will look. Now as you could see, I have built some boxes over here where I'm putting in my data. So these are the particular sections that I built. I will try to build one of them, and as you can see, this is again a shape. Insert, Shapes, and I will select the rectangle again. Now I will right click, Format Shape. From here I'll select maybe this color, gray, and I will change the transparency to almost 70-80%. And I don't need lines, so it will be something like this. Now what I will do next is I will try to create that top banner on top of the box, and to do that I will go to Insert, Illustration, Shapes, and I will select another rectangle. I will create a rectangle on top of the existing one. I'll just color it black, no line, black and no line. To create the border, I will use the same line above, and I will place it between the box and the top banner. Now I will increase the width. So what I will do next is I will go to Insert, and I will use a text box, and I will call it Sales Analysis. I will go to Format Shape, no fill, no line, and I will place it on the banner. Color it white, make it bold, And to make it look alike, I will simply make the first part unbold. Now I need another text box. I'll simply copy paste, and this will be for total sales YTD. I'll just make it a little bit more gray so it actually embeds with the box. Now to get the sales value, I will go to the analysis version 2 sheet. Now over here, the first thing I'll do is, as you can see, the sales value over here in particular is actually very much specific to the employee we select. So to make it dynamic, for the time being, what I will do is, in the cell I1 in the sheet analysis version 2, I will just write employee name. And I will color it yellow so I know this is my criteria in order to filter the data. So first thing first, what I will do is I will create a pivot table from my data. So I will go to insert, pivot table, and I will write the table name. So over here, what I need is I need employee to be in the row section, and I want the corresponding sales, and it will be good to have the profit as well. So in the pivot table, actually whatever you want in the rows goes into the row section, whatever you want in the values goes in the value section. And the next what I will do is, since I want the sales of this criteria, and whenever this criteria changes, so this is basically whatever the user selects. As of now, we'll assume that this is what user selected. So if the user selected Leopold, I should have Leopold sales over here. And if the user selects some other employee, his sales should be here. So basically we need a formula which will actually change as per the changing criteria. And one of the easiest way of doing it is using a VLOOKUP. So I will use is equal to VLOOKUP. My lookup value is this I1, and I want to look this value in column K to M. And from here I want the column number 2, and my VLOOKUP should give me the exact match, so I will use false. Now if I change the criteria to some other employee, you see the sales value also changes. The same thing I'll do for the profit. So I will do is equal to VLOOKUP, lookup value I1, so I want this to be looked up in the columns KM, and wherever you find this particular value, just gives me the corresponding third column. So 1, 2 and 3, the third column is profit, and since I want the exact match, I will say false. Now I have the sales figure and I have the profit figure. Now here is the trick number 4. As I told you earlier, I'm using text boxes to actually fill in my dashboard, and these text boxes are linked to the data and they change dynamically with the change in selection. So what I have done is, over here I will say insert text box. No, I don't need fill, I don't need line, I just need a transparent text box. I will say, so I will click on the text box and I will go to the formula bar. I will say is equal to, go to my analysis sheet. In this case it is analysis version 2, and since I want the sales numbers, I will click on the sales cell and I will press enter. So now what has happened is my text box is linked to the cell B3 in analysis. Now one thing to bear in mind is, if you're using text boxes to do your dashboard, the formatting of the text box should be done at the front end. So no matter what formatting I have it over here, I need to reformat and I need to format it over here as per what I need. So in this case, I want it to be in this color and in this font, and to be bolder and bigger. So So this is the sales value. Now over here when I change the employee, you see the value changes, and since this cell is linked to the text box, the text box value also changes. So this is the main principle on how this dashboard is working. Now there is a way to actually capture the input of the user. So how do I know what user has selected? So if user has selected, let's say Joel Terry, right now we are manually typing it over here. But there should be a way to actually capture the user input. So now we already have this. So now using the VLOOKUP, we already got the sales and the profit numbers based on the criteria, which is the employee name, and we were also able to put them in a text box and make it dynamic by linking the text box to the cell over here. Now the next thing we want to do is, as you can see in the main dashboard, we have a table over here. Now bear in mind, text boxes can only be used for a single value. Let's say if I have a table or multiple cells with multiple columns or rows, text box will not work. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to use another method, which is putting up a linked picture. Now this is trick number 5, and I'll just explain it to you right now how it works. So you go to the analysis version 2. Now what I need is basically the product wise breakdown for each employee and what are the sales in that product for that product. And to do that, I will need another pivot table. So for the time being, I'll simply hide this so I have enough space to show you guys. So I'll say insert pivot table sales, which is the name of the table. So I will put employee in the rows followed by the products. So now I have products under each employee. And what do I need is, against all this stuff, I need the sales value. So I'll simply drag the sale and put it in the value section. Now you can see I have the sum of sales. Just make sure that the method of calculation is sum. Now as you could see here, the order I have in is from highest to lowest. To create the same order, I will simply left click on one of the products and then right click on the value against it. I'll go to sort and sort from largest to smallest. Now this will sort the products under each employee from highest to lowest. As you can see, so it sorted products for each employee from highest to lowest. Now the next task is actually to capture these values or this table against the criteria, which is the employee name. So if the employee name is Leopold, the formula should be able to capture these products and the corresponding value. So to do that, what we will do is we will use something which is a mix of a match formula and an offset formula. So first of all, what we will do is we will put a number sequence over here, 0, 1, 2, 3, and I will say I want to know the matching row. To know the matching row, like where exactly our criteria I1 matches against the column N, I will simply use the match formula. Lookup value will be I1 and lookup array or the lookup column will be N. And since I want the exact match and I want the formula to return me the row in which the exact match of I1 is there in column N, I will say 0. So 0 means exact match. Now the formula is telling me that John Terry is in row 8 and is absolutely correct, and that's exactly what I want. So if the option changes over here or the criteria changes, or let's say user chooses something else, it should tell me where the Peter Jones is, which is the row 18. Now what we will do is we will use the offset formula. So we will say is equal to offset. Our reference will be N1. So in the offset formula, the reference is the main point from where actually you add on the incremental rows or incremental columns to reach to your desired cell. So in this case, I want to reach over here, which is after Peter Jones. So my number of rows will be this plus this. Okay, so basically my reference is static, and from this reference I will add 18 more rows, so it will become 19th row, which is by default the first product under Peter Jones. That's why I added 0. Now what I will do is, which column do I need? I want to stay in the same column because I need the product name and not the value right now. So I will say 0 and I will close this. I will drag this formula down and I will get projector, phone, printer, computer. Projector, phone, printer, computer. The same order which is there under Peter Jones. Now the same thing I'll repeat for the amount as well. I already have the matching row number where the Peter Jones is in column N. I will simply use another offset. Reference this time will be column O and it will be static because I don't want my reference to move. Number of rows will be 18. So basically I'm asking the formula to use the cell O1 as a reference and add 18 more rows to it, which means O1 will become O19. And 0 I will add as it is, just so that I can drop down my formula. And column is 0 because I don't want to go there or here. I want to stay in the same column, so it will be 0. And I will close my formula. I will drag it down and here I have a small table. Now, next thing you want to do is, these numbers are in millions. So I want to convert these numbers into a short form, something like this, where it says 6M, 2.8M and 2M. To do that, I will simply divide this by 1 million. So now I have it in million. I want to round it off, so I will say round number of digits. Let's say I want up to 1 decimal place, and this will round it off to 1 decimal place. Now I also want to add the million M over here, so I'll simply say at the end of the formula and inverted comma space M. So this will add M alongside the value. Now what I will do next is, I need to format this table over here. Unlike the text box which I discussed before, the formatting for the text box is done on the front layout of the dashboard, or where the text box is, not on the linked cell. However, with the linked picture, the formatting is done on the source data. So this is one of the major difference between the linked image and the text box. So what I will do is, I will simply format it in the same way it's showing there, and since I don't like grid lines, I will remove the grid lines also. Now this is the trick part. So this is basically the trick number 5. What I will do is, I will simply select the table, Control C, copy, go to our summary sheet that we are trying to replicate, go to home, paste, and you need to select this option which is called linked picture. So once you click on it, you can see the same data which is over there is over here. I will just make some more space for this data. Now, as you could see, this is a linked picture. You cannot change a lot about the formatting over here on the front face, but all the formatting you have to do is at the back end where you are analyzing the data. Unlike the text box, where the formatting option is there on the front face or on the text box, not on the linked data. Now you could see that I have two fields over here. One is the text box and other one is a linked picture, and they both are linked and they both change dynamically. So if I change the employee name to, let's say, Leo Paul, in my summary V2 you see both value changes accordingly. Now this is the main principle behind the full dashboard. Now one more thing that we need over here is, right now we are manually entering the input from user. So I will manually enter John Terry and the data will change. However, in our real dashboard, there is a drop down. So now we will learn how to create this drop down. So for that, what we want to do is, so first of all, you need to go to your summary version 2, which is a replica that you're trying to create of the original dashboard. So you need to enable the developer tab. Now by default, some of you might have it, some of you might not have it. But to enable this tab, you go to File, go to Options, Customize Ribbon, and from here, if the developer tab is unchecked, just simply click on it so there is a check mark and then say OK. So suddenly you will see a developer tab. Now I will be doing further videos on making full use of the developer tab, how to do VBA, macros, programming and all that. So that's why I want you guys to please subscribe so you don't miss of any of the exciting stuff ahead. So for now, we will just focus on the insert option over here. So if you click on insert, you see you get two options. One is the form control and the other one is the ActiveX controls. For now, we will use the form controls and I will tell you what is the difference between two. The form controls are actually pre-programmed controls or buttons that you can easily click and play, while the ActiveX controls are the controls that are not pre-programmed. So they will be totally useless until you add some logic or you do some programming on it. So that's why I will leave the ActiveX control for now. We will use the form control. We will use something called the combo box. So this is the drop down list that I have it over there. So we'll simply click on it and then we will draw it over here. I will just place it at the right place, which is the navigation panel. Okay. You can see now there is no data right now, so we need to add some data. So what we will do is we will right click the drop down on the combo box. We will go to format control. Under format control, you see many other options which I have never used to be honest before. So we'll just go to the control tab. So this is our main tab that we will use in order to update the drop down list or the combo box. You can see two options over here. One is the input range, other is the cell link. So input range is basically the list of employees that we want to show it to user from where the user can select. The cell link is basically what the user select. So right now first we will add the list of employees. We'll go to input range. We will go to our list and we will add the employees over here. The cell link is basically the selection of the user, and right now we are entering it manually, but now what we will do is we will link it to our cell H1, the cell right next to the name of the employee, and then I'll press OK. So once you do that, you will see the employee name appearing over here. Now, as you can see, if I select any of the employee, I'll just zoom it for you so it's easier for you to see. If I select any of the employee, this number changes. So for example, if I select Peter Jones, this becomes 1. So this is nothing but the cell link that we selected from the format control. It could be any of the cell, not just the H1. And then if I select Ashley Thomas, this cell changes. Now to make it dynamic, what I will do over here is I will do a simple VLOOKUP and I will look up this selection number, which is 1234, which we are getting from the user, and I will look up against the list. So in the same order I have the list and I have also written numbers before it. So if I say I want to look up against this, I will need the number 2, which is the name, and now you see this lookup is actually linking my count or my number or my selection number to my main employee list. Now if I simply change the name, the data also changes. Now this is actually the and one of the main thing which runs this dashboard, which is the two-way interaction, where not only you are showing the user what you want to show, the user is also able to actually interact with the dashboard and do his selections. Similarly, over here you can add more pivot tables, you can add more data, more analysis, and if you see my dashboard, it's all running on the same principle. This is a text box, this is a text box, this is a linked picture, this is a linked picture, all of these are text boxes. This is again a linked picture. I made a table and it is a linked picture. So you see the full dashboard, 95% of the dashboard is made up of linked picture and text boxes. And now you also know how to create this drop down, similar to one over here that we just created. So another thing over here going on in the main dashboard are the changing pictures. So as you can see, I have a leaderboard and I have a picture that changes with the name. So the thing is that these pictures are programmed over here and they change as and when the user makes the selection. So if you go to employee image, you will see the name of the employee and the corresponding picture. So let's say you have this file and you want to change the picture so that you can put in your data. So to do that, what you will first do is you will first enter your employees or whatever the data you have, and then this will also change because this is linked to that list file. Then what you need to do is then you need to get the pictures. So let us try changing a picture. So let's say I want to change the picture of Leopold. To do that, I want to know that what is the current name of the picture. So the current picture is 6 and 5. So picture 6 under column C, these are the pictures that are coming here. And the next pictures which are in the column D, these are the pictures that are showing up in the leaderboard section. The reason I have two columns and two different pictures is because these two pictures have two different sizes. So I had to create two pictures for each employee. Now if I go to employee image, the first thing I want to do is, as I've already written in the instructions over here, after entering the employee name, you insert the picture. So for example, now I want to change the picture of Leopold. I will go to insert and pictures, this device, go to dashboard, and from here let me pick up this picture. Insert. So I got this picture. Now I want to make it in a round shape. I will simply click on the picture format after clicking the picture, and I will select this round shape. So this will turn my picture into a round shape. Now I will resize it as per the existing size. So it has to be exactly the same size. I will go to format picture and I will remove the border. So it is now almost the same size. Now next thing I will do is I will see what is the name of the picture. So once you click on the picture, you go to picture format, you also see the picture number. This is picture number 3. I will do another copy for it. I will cut it from here and I will put it in the leaderboard section. So in case if Leopold comes on the top of the leaderboard, his picture should appear. In this case, I want to resize it as per the existing picture. So I will make it smaller and I will try to make it the same size. So now we have two pictures, one at the employee image and the other at the leaderboard sheet. So now we need to mention these pictures over here. So for the employee image, this is picture number 3. So I will simply change it to 3. And for the leaderboard, this picture number is 8. So I will go to employee image, and because for the leaderboard the picture is 8, I will change the picture to 8. Now what I will do is I will simply do a refresh. I will go back to my main, and now you see the picture has changed. So this is how you can change the picture in the dashboard. So now I would like to summarize what we have learned, and to start off with, I will revise the 5 tricks that we have learned that will really help you to create great dashboards that are fully automated and very well designed. So the very first point was that you need to visualize first. So you need to lay down your layout of your dashboard first, just do a rough sketch and then work backwards, which means then you take in the analysis and put it in the dashboard. Number 2, when creating the dashboard layouts, do not use the cells but use the shapes, as shapes are more flexible in terms of placing them anywhere you want and they have more formatting options. Number 3, create data tables. So you have the main data, just try to make a table of it so that it can easily be referred to anywhere in the workbook to create pivot tables. Number 4, text linking. So what you can do over here is you can actually link your text box to your main data. This will actually help you to have a dynamic text box on the front face of your dashboard and you can place it anywhere you want. Number 5, and the last trick, is to paste it as a linked image. Now one of the limitations of text box is it only takes in one particular value. However, if you have a small table or you have multiple columns or rows, in that case just use the linked picture as I showed you earlier. So I would like to thank you guys for watching this tutorial and I hope it helped you or you gained at least something out of it. These are one of those things where the more you put into, the more you get out of it. So once again, if you like my video, please don't forget to subscribe as I will be putting on new videos on VBs and more dashboards and other tools to come. And also, please let me know your feedback in the comment section as I would love to help you guys.